Chapter 6. An hour later, Brooklyn Cafe. The rain had started as she was leaving, not a downpour, just a soft, steady drizzle that blurred the city into a watercolor wash of gray and yellow. Elena ducked into the one place she still considered neutral ground, an old cafe in Brooklyn where the barristers knew her by name and never asked too many questions. She sat in the back booth, clutching a mug of coffee like a lifeline. She didn't notice the man approach until he slid into the seat across from her. "You always look like you're seconds from throwing something," he said with a lopsided smile. "It's comforting. You haven't changed." Elena blinked. "Nico?" He nodded. Dark hair tousled, eyes sharp and mischievous. Same worn leather jacket, same smirk that meant trouble. She hadn't seen him in almost a year, not since... "You're the one who left the note." He didn't deny it. "I had to get your attention," Nico said. "You wouldn't return my calls." "That's because last time we spoke, you almost got me blacklisted from half the galleries in the city." He shrugged. "Minor detail." "Nico?" His smirk faded. "I'm serious, Elle. You need to stop seeing him." "I'm not seeing him. It's a commission." "You're lying to yourself," he said, too gently. She looked away. "You remember that time I told you Wolf Systems isn't just some sleek tech giant?" He continued. "That they have people buried in places the press never finds? Don't start," she warned. "You think you're just painting him. But you're being studied, Elena, tracked. They do this. They find people like you, talented, broke, unguarded, and they offer you shiny things so they can see what you'll do." Her jaw clenched. "He's not like that." "Oh, you don't think he's like that? That's different." She said nothing. Nico leaned in, voice low. "There's a file, one with your name on it. A digital trail that didn't exist before you met him. New facial recognition tags. Surveillance timestamps. You've been marked." Her skin went cold. "How do you know that?" "I have contacts. People who owed me favors." Elena stared into her coffee. "I didn't do anything wrong." "That doesn't mean they won't use you." A long silence passed. Finally, she asked, "Why do you care?" Nico exhaled. "Because once you said art was the only honest thing you had left. I don't want to watch you lose that." She closed her eyes. The cafe felt too small, too loud, too real. That night, Wolf Tower, Damian's penthouse. Damian stood in his study, staring at the same email. The photo of her hadn't changed. The timestamp still read, 6 weeks before the gala. Her face was half in shadow, her sketch pad tucked against her hip. She looked curious, not malicious. But that's what made it worse, because curiosity was a kind of hunger, and hunger always came with risk. He tapped a few keys on his encrypted terminal, pulled up her file, everything checked out. No red flags, no priors, no suspicious activity, just one anomaly, a wire transfer to her account 2 months ago. From a foundation he didn't recognize. The name was generic, Meridian Arts Grant, supposedly philanthropic. But when he clicked through the database, the records ended abruptly. Buried. He leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowing. Someone had paid her. Someone had positioned her. And whether she knew it or not, she was in far deeper than she realized. The sound of the rain had faded by morning, but Elena barely slept. She sat on the windowsill of her tiny apartment, sketchbook open on her knees, eyes fixed on the page, but not drawn. Her fingers hovered over the paper like they were afraid of touching the truth. Nico's words clanged in her head like doorbells. "There's a file with your name on it. You've been marked. They find people like you." She wanted to believe he was wrong, paranoid, still chasing shadows like he always had. But deep down, the seed of doubt had already rooted, and now it was growing. Midday, Wolf Systems, secure floor. Damian rarely made personal calls, fewer still to people from his past. But today he broke that rule. The secure line buzzed once, then connected. A voice answered, clipped and British. "This is Hart." Damian didn't waste time. "Meridian Arts Grant. I need everything you can find. Donors, shell companies, linked accounts, tax records. It smells like a front." "You believe it's tied to the girl?" "I believe someone doesn't want her to know who she's working for." "Shall I initiate a background sweep? Number just the foundation?" "Quietly. I don't want her touched. There was a pause. Understood. Damian ended the call and leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled beneath his chin. On the screen, Eliana's sketch of his hands glowed softly in grayscale. He hadn't deleted it. He told himself it was for evidence, but he knew that was a lie. He kept it because she saw him in it, and he couldn't decide if that was beautiful or dangerous. Eliana's apartment, same time. Her mother coughed in the next room, sharp, dry. Eliana rose and poured warm tea into a chipped mug, the scent of lemon and honey barely masking the stale apartment air. Thanks, baby, her mother murmured as Eliana entered. She tucked the blanket up over her mother's shoulder. I'll be out for a bit later. I need to clear my head. You've been different lately, her mother said, peering at her with half-fogged eyes. Since you started that commission. Eliana smiled faintly. He's a complicated subject. Don't let anyone make you forget who you are, Ellie. That landed heavier than intended. She kissed her mother's forehead, lingered a moment longer, then left the room. As she stepped into the hallway, she dialed a number she hadn't called in over a year. Later, Dumbo, Brooklyn. The warehouse hadn't changed, still low-lit, still thick with the smell of varnish and paint, still the home of underground shows where no one wore name tags and every artist brought more secrets than they sold. Nico was there waiting near a rusted scaffolding. Eliana crossed the concrete floor slowly. Why didn't you tell me about the money? He didn't pretend not to know what she meant. That grant helped you keep the lights on. That wasn't a grant, she said, voice low and raw. That was bait. I didn't know where it came from until after you'd gotten it. I swear you should have told me. I was trying to protect you. She gave a bitter laugh. You're not my guardian angel, Nico. You're a liar with good cheekbones. He smiled. Still the sharpest tongue in the room. But she didn't smile back. I need the truth, she said. All of it. No more cryptic warnings. No more backroom intel. Why does Wolf Systems care about me? Why now? Nico's face changed. Not defensive, not amused, just tired. Because someone close to Wolf is bleeding money into an anonymous fund. Because your name showed up in a list of assets of interest 6 months ago. And because a guy like Damian Wolf doesn't let people into his life unless they serve a purpose or destroy one. Eliana's pulse roared in her ears. Which one am I? Nico didn't answer, because they both already knew she could be either or both. That night, Damian's private gallery. There was only one painting on the wall, one no one had ever seen. He unlocked the vault room with his fingerprint, stepped inside, and stared at the single frame in the center of the glass display. A woman painted in violent contrast, her hair dark as ink, her mouth half open in mid-scream. The color around her fractured like stained glass, broken, beautiful. Not Eliana, someone else. Damian stared at the canvas like it still had the power to wound. He hadn't painted since her, until Eliana. He reached into his pocket and took out the photo, the one from the email. He held it beside the canvas, then slowly lowered it. No resemblance. And yet, something in the pose, in the eyes, haunted him. He whispered to the silence, "Who sent you?" Stay tuned for more chapters on this story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your comments. Thanks for watching.